In 1992, Los Angeles was in chaos. The city was shaken by riots after the Rodney King verdict, and the effects spread quickly. In nearby Long Beach, violence exploded. More than 120 people were killed in the months that followed. Gangs were active, and tensions between different racial groups reached a dangerous peak. It was one of the most violent times the area had ever seen. A young girl, Eva, goes to her father, who playfully hands her a boxing glove. She starts training with him jokingly.
Eso, mija.
She then goes to sit on the stairs, waiting for her bus to go to school. She sees her neighbor Roberto washing his car. She waves at him and he waves back. But shortly after, a car passes, shooting Roberto. The next day, Eva's father is arrested for retaliation just because he is respected in his neighborhood. When she grows up, she starts going on game nights. While there, she starts to get beaten so that she would be strong.
When I got my initiation into the gang life, I became third generation.
In Long Beach, they are always cautious because Latinos, blacks, and Asians might get shot at any time. The city is still tense from the riots that happened 2 years earlier, and that tension is reflected inside the school, especially among students from different backgrounds. As Eva is going to school with her boyfriend, a car approaches and starts shooting. Eva runs to escape, but she is beaten by another group.
They think they're winning by jumping me now, but soon they're all going down.
At the same time, Erin Gruel, a new teacher, starts working at Woodrow Wilson High School in Long Beach, California. She is briefed by the principal. The school head, Margaret, tells her that 2 students in her class might be wearing an ankle bracelet. Erin shows her lesson plans, but Margaret tells her to review them again because most of the things there would be hard for the students.
Homer's The Odyssey are going to be too difficult for them.
She then proceeds to tell her that Woodrow Wilson High School had a strong reputation, but it has gone downhill due to changes in the school's integration policies. Erin tells her she chose this school because of the integration policy. She thinks what they are doing is exciting. She thinks defending youths in court cannot be a solution. She believes she can make a difference in class. Then the principal warns her it is not going to be an easy task. She also warns that she shouldn't wear the pearls she has on to class.
I wouldn't wear them to class.
On her first day, Erin is enthusiastic and wears bright red, hoping to make a good impression. She asks her husband if she looks like a teacher, and he confirms with a smile. She then goes to the school and looks around until class starts. She then goes to the class and waits for the students after writing her name on the board. After a while, students start pouring in.
Hello. Hey, yo, let's sit right here, man.
When the students arrive, they talk among themselves and pay her no attention. She attempts to greet some of them, but they ignore her. She calls their names for attendance, but most of them are doing their own things. The class is a mix of Latino, Black, and Asian students. As she was calling names, one student started to talk about how he doesn't belong in the class.
So ghetto-ass class got people in here looking like a bad rerun of Cops and shit, you know what I mean?
He even made a racist comment. Things quickly spiral out of control when he and another student begin arguing and nearly get into a fight. Erin, unsure how to handle the chaos, steps out to get help.
Excuse me, may I please get some help in here?
A man runs to the class and stops the fight. Later, the principal introduces Erin to another teacher, Brian. As they converse, he tells her that at some point, her students will stop coming. But Erin thinks if she does her job properly, that is not going to happen.
If I do my job, they might be lining up at the door. Right.
The next day, as Eva is going to school, she narrates that she is only going to school because her probation officer forced her to do so. At school, the students stay within their own racial groups, each with its own unspoken conflicts. Sometimes, someone might attempt to approach other races, and it usually doesn't end well.
Demanding respect they haven't earned. It looks like this.
In class, Erin starts her class. She starts the class with Odyssey by Homer. The students make fun of this by likening Homer to Homer Simpson. At the same time, Eva brings her boyfriend Paco and his gang to the school. In class, a student named Jamal steals another student's bag, and Erin attempts to intervene. But as she is attempting to calm the dispute, she hears something from the outside. She goes out to investigate and sees something shocking. A fight breaks out on campus. Students are attacking each other based on their race. Erin is left standing by, feeling helpless and overwhelmed. She sees one student about to take a gun, but he runs when he sees her. Soon, all of them run out. Later at home, she talks to her husband, Scott, about how defeated she feels. She's also anxious that her father, who disapproves of her job, might hear about the trouble at school.
Hopefully he hasn't seen the news.
That night, Scott and Erin go to dinner with Erin's father. Her father clearly disapproves of her job. He thinks she has the potential to do better, but she is stuck in a job where she can't even make a difference.
Instead, I worry all night because you're a teacher at Attic.
Can you?
Back at home, Erin is angry about her father's reaction towards her job. Scott attempts to comfort her, encouraging what she is doing. He tells her that she doesn't have to care about her father's opinion of her. The next day in class, Erin plays music to teach poetry. She gives the lyrics to them, but the students start making fun of her. Erin then changes her demeanor and becomes serious. She switches everyone's seat, and now, instead of their racial group, they are sitting mixed with other races. They stayed that way for some days, but one day, a fight broke out. After some days, the students got late, and Erin assumed they were going to stop coming, but they showed up late. One night, Eva visits a store while Paco waits outside with a few others. At the same time, another student, Cindy, who doesn't get along with Eva, walks into the store with two friends. Inside, Grant, a black student, is playing a game and gets upset when he loses. He demands a refund, which angers the store owner. An argument ensues, and Grant storms out. As Grant walks out, Paco pulls a gun, intending to retaliate for a past fight. He fires, but accidentally hits one of Cindy's friends instead. Eva runs to Paco's car, and Grant runs outside. The next day, a meeting is held at school. Grant, who had nothing to do with the shooting, is arrested. Eva saw everything, but lies in court, blaming Grant to protect Paco and her group. Back at school the next day, a student named Tito hands out a racist drawing to mock Jamal. The drawing finally reached Jamal, making him feel bad. The students start to giggle, catching Erin's attention. Erin uses this moment to introduce the class to the Holocaust. This leads to a tense discussion about race, history, and identity.
We was here first, man. That shit up, man.
Eva shares her anger toward white people, describing how she saw her friend shot by police and her father taken from their home without cause. Marcus, another student, says he would die for his people if it meant keeping their honor.
Lady, I'm lucky if I make it to 18. We in the war.
Hearing their stories, Erin tries to challenge their beliefs. She tells them that no matter what they do in life, once they're gone, they'll be buried like everyone else. What matters, she says, is how they choose to live and treat others while they're still here. One student raises his hand and asks what the Holocaust is. Erin realized none of them knows what it is. She asks the students who knows what the Holocaust is, and only one white student raises his hand. She then asks the students who have been shot to raise their hands, and almost everyone raises their hand, leaving Erin in awe. After class, she approaches Margaret to request books that might speak to the students' lives. She chooses Anne Frank. Margaret refuses, worried the students will damage or lose the books, and adds that the school can't afford replacements. She tells Erin to stick to teaching discipline instead. Hoping for support elsewhere, Erin turns to another teacher named Brian, but he agrees with Margaret. He doesn't believe integration is working and argues that students who want to learn shouldn't be held back by those who don't belong in the classroom.
It shouldn't be here are forced to be here by the geniuses running the school district.
He keeps telling her she knows nothing about what she is doing. Erin is disappointed but doesn't give up. Back in class, she decides to try a different approach. Erin introduces an activity called the line game, where students step forward if a statement applies to them. It starts off light, with questions about music or hobbies, but slowly moves into painful territory. When she asks how many have lost friends because of racial violence, nearly the whole class steps forward. That moment hits everyone hard. She then asked them to pay respect to those people by calling their names. Every student did as they were told. After that, she thanks them for that. To help the students express themselves, Erin gives them journals. They're free to write anything they want. She encourages them to put on whatever they want on it, and she won't read it unless they let her.
I will lock this cabinet at the end of every class.
Back at home, Erin talks to Scott about what happened at school that day. Scott, even though he is supportive, mentions that they never talked about their life since she started working. He asks if they can spend time together, but she is occupied.
Not long. Promise.
The next day, Erin goes to the locker and finds the journals. It means the student want her to read their journal. After reading their entries, she discovers stories filled with pain, abuse, homelessness, violence, and fear. Each of them has their own stories, but what makes them common is the pain they've gone through.
One time, he couldn't pay the rent.
That night, she meets her father for dinner. She takes the journal with her and talks to ask what she should do. But her father believes that she should switch jobs.
You're gonna sell bras at a department store?
Following this, she decided to take on an extra job working at a store to pay for school supplies and outside activities. She goes to buy books and distribute the books to everyone. But since the books are not in the curriculum, they are not allowed to read them. So she needs to get permission before that. She then goes to the school's director, Dr. Cohn, hoping he'll convince Margaret to support her. Dr. Cohn doesn't want to get involved, but Erin convinces him, saying that she is not going to bother Margaret.
I just need to know I won't meet resistance.
So to cover more costs, she takes on a third job in a hotel. At home, her husband, Scott, grows frustrated. He feels left out of her choices and doesn't understand why she's taking on so much extra work. Erin promises that things will go back to normal once her students start improving. She even suggests that he go back to school to get his architecture degree. Eva goes to visit her father in prison. She gives him the book Erin gives them, but he was not interested in that. He asks about Paco's trail and tells her that he is proud of her for protecting her race. He keeps telling her that she needs to keep winning. Eventually, Erin organizes a trip to the Museum of Tolerance. There, the students learn about the Holocaust and confront issues like bullying, prejudice, and hate. After the visit, Erin treats them to dinner at her restaurant job and surprises them by inviting Holocaust survivors to speak. Listening to the survivors' personal stories leaves a strong impression on the students, helping them see how unfair it is to judge or divide people based on race.
She lost her whole family at the camps.
If you saw the film.
After the trip, Marcus goes back home and writes in his journal. His first entry is him confessing that he missed his mother. When the next school year starts, Erin continues teaching the same group. On their first day back, she asks them to make a toast for change. She explains that there are 4 books they will read throughout the year, but before that, they are supposed to make a toast.
Every voice that told you you can't is silenced.
One student steps forward and picks a drink. She gave a short speech before the toast. Following her, several students step forward to do the same. It becomes a powerful moment where students share their hopes and struggles, growing closer as a group. One student, Victoria, requests to be in Erin's class. Margaret tells her it won't be good for her grades if she do that, but Victoria insists. When Brian hears about this, he is not happy. He tells Margaret that he is the one who teaches honorary students, but there is nothing that they can do since the student themselves requested Erin.
Distinguished honor students are mine. She's not allowed to teach them. She's only been here a year.
Later that night, she tells Scott that an honorary student joined her class, but he questioned her ability to teach a student like that. She asks why he would say something like this, and he retaliates, saying to stop telling people that his job is temporary and he will go back to architecture. That is not what he wants anymore. They argue because they were unable to understand each other, and Erin storms out. Erin gives the students a copy of the Diary of Anne Frank, hoping they'll connect with Anne's story. As they read, they learn about her life in hiding during the Holocaust. When Eva finished reading the book, she was hurt because she didn't expect Anne to get caught. She takes out her frustration on Erin for not telling her how the book ends.
If she dies, then what about me? Huh? What are you saying about that?
Marcus interrupts, saying that the story is real. He then tells them that he liked Miep Gies, the woman who risked everything to protect Anne and her family. He even read more about her from other books.
Wow. You used your library card?
When the students learn that Miep Gies is still alive, they ask Erin if she can bring her to their school. Erin worries it might be difficult because of Miep's age and the cost of bringing her from Europe, but the students are determined. They promise to raise the money themselves.
When Miep Gies come, can I be the one to escort her in?
The next day, they start organizing events, selling snacks at the beach, putting together dance performances, and holding other fundraisers.
Hi, I'm trying to get the number for the Anne Frank Foundation in Basel, Switzerland.
With hard work and teamwork, they collect enough funds to make the visit possible. While this is happening, Erin reaches out to Miep and successfully invites her to come as a special guest. Through all of this, Margaret keeps reporting them to Cone, but nothing happens. When the big day arrives, the students are thrilled. Miep is warmly welcomed, and Marcus proudly walks her to the auditorium. There, she shares her story of helping hide Jewish families during the Holocaust, even when her own life was at risk. She talks about facing danger without fear and doing what was right in the face of evil.
A man pointed a gun at me and said, "Not a sound."
Inspired, Marcus calls her his hero, but Miep gently reminds him that she's not a hero, just someone who made a choice to help. She tells the students that they too can be heroes, even through small acts of kindness and courage. Her words affect the students and Margaret, who is listening from the door. Meanwhile, as Grant's trial draws near, Eva is pressured by her mother to stay loyal to their group and lie in court. Eva struggles with what to do: stay silent and protect her community, or finally tell the truth. Marcus, affected by the day's experience, decides to make things right with his mother. He once left his mother and got involved in gang life. Realizing the pain he caused, he goes home to apologize and promises to change his ways. When the moment of the trial comes, Eva follows her conscience. In court, she bravely admits that Paco was the one who pulled the trigger, not Grant. Thanks to her honesty, Grant is cleared, and Paco is held responsible. But Eva's decision comes at a cost. The next day, members of her group confront her angrily for betraying them. She's only protected because of the respect her father commands in their community. After the attack, Eva decides to stay with her aunt to keep a low profile and feel safe, but she would have to stay late at school to get her homework done. On the following days, Erin's efforts seem to be paying off. The student keeps going up, exceeding her expectations. One day, Erin returns home one evening to a painful surprise. Her husband, Scott, is packing up to leave. Though he respects the work she's doing with her students, he admits he feels forgotten and isolated. Despite her good intentions, Erin's focus on teaching has cost her their relationship. He quietly says goodbye, leaving her deeply hurt. Back at school, Erin informs her class that they'll soon move up to their junior year, but when she tells them she won't be their teacher anymore, they're crushed. They tell her they still need her guidance and don't want to continue without her.
Everybody's cool with everybody. Everybody knows everybody.
Back at home, Erin's father comes to help her move. She's sad that she's getting divorced. Her father encourages her, telling her that she is an amazing teacher. Determined not to give up, Erin goes to the department head, the principal, and Dr. Cone to plead her case. But Margaret pushes back, insisting that the older, more experienced teachers should take over.
They might even gain something from more experienced teachers.
You can't teach them.
Disappointed, Erin tells the student that it was passed by the board. This makes everyone angry, but Erin encourages her students to keep pushing forward no matter what.
For some, you'll be the first in your family, the first with a choice to go to college.
For their final assignment, she asked them to write their life stories in the form of diaries. Just like Anne Frank. To her, they've grown into more than just students. They've become writers, each with something meaningful to say. She gathers their entries and creates a book titled The Freedom Writer's Diary. Shortly after, Erin is called to another school board meeting. Erin argues that what she is doing is helping the students, but Margaret firmly opposes her. At the end of the discussion, the board agrees to let her stay with her class through their junior and senior years. Overjoyed, she rushes back to share the news with her students, who are just as thrilled.